Hi, I'm James Shillinglaw, and I'm here with John Grutzner, who's president of Insight Vacations and Luxury Gold USA. And Insight and Luxury Gold recently put out a survey of luxury travelers, upscale travelers, I should say. And the results, I think, will be encouraging to you, but we're going to talk about that. And we're also going to talk about what's going on with Insight and Luxury Gold today as we emerge, hopefully, from this pandemic finally. It's taken a year, but I think we may be finally, maybe not totally out of the woods, but we're getting there. So as I said, the proverbial light at the end of the tunnel, and it's getting brighter, and it's not the train coming towards you. So we're good. Anyway, you're going to learn all that from John on Insider Travel Report. How are you, and where are you?
Well, thanks, James. I appreciate it. I'm talking to you from my home in Fairfield, Connecticut. So I'm doing well. I'm glad that you came back from the deepest Amazon okay here. So that's good to see. But yeah, we're just surviving the snow up here. It seems like it's getting more and more. So I'm here with my wife and my daughter. And since the last time we spoke, kind of as you mentioned in your intro, we're much more bullish on things coming back and coming back quickly. So we've had one of the best booking weeks that we've had since COVID. In fact, the past 2 weeks have looked very, very promising. So we're excited about it.
No, that's great news. I was going to ask you about bookings, and we'll ask a little more in depth later. But let's get right to it. We're going to talk about this survey that you just released results of last week of upscale travelers. And what was the biggest finding of this survey? Was it the promising outlook for upscale and luxury travel?
Well, there was a few things, and just a little bit about the survey. We've been sending that out pretty much every other week for about the past 8 months. We get well over 1,000, usually about 1,500 to 2,000 people responding to the survey. And then we overlap with the survey results to what we're seeing with our upper premium and luxury brands. So that's obviously Insight Vacations, Luxury Gold, but also with what we're seeing with Uniworld Boutique River Cruises, African Travel, as well as Red Carnation. So we're kind of combining the two. Okay. The results, as you may anticipate, is that upper premium and luxury is coming back quicker than our contemporary brands. And that's really exciting. Other things that you'd probably expect is longer duration of the trips that are being booked, larger dollar amounts, obviously, as well. Some of the things that we are seeing as we read into the study is that more of a global scope of where people are deciding to travel. So on the contemporary brands, we're seeing much more of an uptick in domestic. We're seeing a little bit of that with Luxury Gold, but more of a global looking at exotics and longer duration trips. We're also seeing more of an emphasis on small group departures as well as small private group departures. And one of the things that we like, obviously our involvement with TTC and the Tread Right Foundation, is people want to travel with a purpose. So we're seeing our Make Travel Matter experiences are doing really well with our upscale discerning guests as well.
Now, the survey does show that upscale and luxury travelers are coming back, but how quickly are they coming back? Are they interested in stuff this year, or are we talking about 2022?
Well, that's the $10,000 question, and that's what we're looking at. As we look at the studies and we look at the percentages, 72% of the upscale travelers say that they're either ready to travel now or later in 2021. And so that's been a really good indication for us. That's grown fairly steadily over the last few weeks. 31% say that they're going to travel this year. 45% say that they're going to travel next year, and 25% are saying they're still not sure. So basically, as we're seeing that trend's been growing and growing. As we see the vaccination rollout, the confidence in traveling has become better and better. So we're seeing the bookings that are coming in are about 50% of our new bookings are coming in for 2021. About 50% of our bookings are coming in for 2022.
That's pretty good, but it's probably later in the year in 21, right?
But that is correct. That is correct.
Now, you talked a little bit earlier about the kind of travel these folks are looking for. You said, they wanted sustainable stuff, but you also had some other categories there, well-being. Now, you got to define that for me. You said small groups, private groups. Also, obviously, they care about everyone having protocols in place to spend, the type of travel as they go on. What are some of the types of travel that they're looking to do?
Okay, well, and we're seeing a larger scope over the last few weeks than we've had in the past. And what that's telling us, indicating, is some of the traveling buying patterns are getting back to what they were pre-COVID. So the same type of expectations that guests had pre-COVID are now starting to show in the bookings that we're seeing. With Insight Vacations, we've always had some natural distancing because of our business class motor coaches. We've had smaller groups. We're seeing our trip styles like country roads that includes the larger iconic cities, but more off the beaten experiences are doing really, really well. We're seeing small groups, and for us, we have classic sized trips that are 40 or less, averaging about 33, but now we have small groups that maximize out at 24 guests. We're also seeing a trend to small private groups. So that's where our affluent, well-traveled guests can privatize a departure and travel with their friends and family and loved ones. We're seeing a trend in that regards, as well as more customized groups. And so we're seeing the smart travel advisor who regularly sources high-value guests is doing come-along groups, and they're promoting those as small private groups and inviting their guests along. So we're seeing a number of different varieties, but we're seeing our top-selling trips in the past are starting to come to fruition, with one notable exception, that we are seeing domestic trips, an uptick both on the luxury gold side as well as the Insight Vacation side, are more popular than they have been in the past.
Well, you've also been ramping up the number of domestic trips you offer, I believe. So I always thought of Insight as really Europe, in the years. And then over the years, you started offering more domestic. And when you launched Luxury Gold, I was happy and very surprised to see that you did include domestic trips in that experience. Although, again, some of your seminal luxury trips are focused on Europe. Let's talk a little bit about how big a group do these travelers want to travel in? I mean, I think the survey was looking at ranges of 12 to 15 people, 16 to 20 people, 26 or more, and not surprisingly, the smaller is better, right?
Yeah, that's what we're seeing. The key is there's choice. And so we're offering a variety of different choices for the guests. Again, we have small group departures with Insight and Luxury Gold, maximizing at 24. We have these private groups where they can really determine the size that they want, as you mentioned, starting at 12 guests. But it's about providing options for them so they can choose and to travel in the size group that they're most comfortable with.
Yeah. Now, you talked a little bit about where these people want to go, and you said it was getting more global. But right now, what's the percentage Europe versus U.S. or other places?
Well, but prior to the conversation, I did look most recently on what our booking trends are. We're seeing that in the Insight space, the U.S. and Canada are leading the way right now, followed by Ireland. And then slightly tiered down is Italy, the United Kingdom, and then Croatia, which has been very, very popular.
Well, it's one of the few places you can get in, I think, too. So
yeah, exactly. I like to think it's because it's the clearest water in the Adirondack. The Adriatic, but
either that or that they're one of the few that just if you get a test, you're okay. You don't have to quarantine. So
it is
aspirational for me. I want to go there. I tell you, I've been there on cruises, as I'm sure you have, but I've never actually done there on a tour and actually seen it all, and it sounds wonderful. But yeah, so Croatia and Europe.
So James, after this, you and I'll head to Croatia.
You got it. Yeah, we were thinking about having a drink at Universal, but let's up the game here. And we'll go to
exactly. Exactly. I'd rather go to Hvar than watch the hump ride. So
now,
and then on the luxury gold side, again, you're seeing some domestic, but also the UK, followed by Switzerland, is doing extremely well for us. So just a little bit of a slight variance from our upper premium guided vacation product to our pure luxury product. We're excited. Our pure luxury product is going to 100% small group in 2022, and we're already seeing bookings in that area.
And that small group is what, 12 to 16 is what you're talking about, or smaller?
Less than 20, and it varies by destination by destination. So a little bit different in Asia and Australia than it is in Europe and domestically.
Now let's talk a little bit about, are you finding in terms of the U.S., well, I asked that question, but U.S. products for both Insight and Luxury Gold, you said were first in line, right? at this point?
They're the first for growth that we're seeing. We launched a domestic escape program,
Right.
which is a 7-day program for Insight, featuring Hawaii, the Cajun country, Louisiana, as well as the U.S. Southwest, the Sedona area as well. So those shorter 7-day programs are doing fairly well.
Well, and of course, then we look at Europe, and I think everybody's wondering, and I'm not just talking Croatia, I'm talking about the rest of Europe. When do you think this is going to come back? I know people are booking Europe products, obviously, for later in the year. And I guess everybody's waiting for things like Britain, which I know has been a mainstay for you, to make their decisions on how quickly they're going to open up. But in your view, do you see us having a Europe season this summer, or or we have to wait till the fall?
No, I do think that we'll see in the summer, but as you mentioned in Croatia, I think that's going to be country for country.
Right.
One of the interesting things is we talk to our well-traveled guests. They're not just looking to see one of the borders opening up, but they don't want to have a diminished experience when they go into destinations. So they want to see the vaccine roll out, not just here in the U.S., but how that is going to impact them as they travel into destinations. So they don't want to go to Croatia and not be able to see Dubrovnik because they haven't managed their rollout well. So we're seeing two things. That one is I am confident in the summer that we're going to get back to a more traditional booking pattern, more traditional travel pattern, but that is going to be dependent and aligned with what's happening with the vaccine rollout worldwide.
Now, given all the survey and your booking patterns you see right now, how has that affected your planning for the itineraries and the products you offer? I mean, obviously, you've seen the uptick in domestic, so you've had to maybe put some more departures on there or something, and then maybe later in the year get back to Europe. And as you said, things may be getting back to whatever normal is later in the year. But it must have had a bit of a challenge for you for both brands to kind of reorient it based on what you're seeing. Has that been the case?
Yeah, and that would be an understatement, James. One of the things that happened early on, Stanley Tillman, who is our chairman, came to ULA, our CEO, as well as Gavin Tillman with Trafalgar, and introduced a well-being director. And we're really the only industry in the industry. We're very exclusive with that. So he had the foresight to realize that guests are going to look for that 3-person on the road team. It's the driver, it's the travel director or traveling concierge, as well as this well-being director. And so what we see, the policies are evolving and adapting. We feel by having one additional person on the trips and on the journeys, it's going to allow us to adapt to the individual policies and protocols in the destinations that we're traveling to. So that was the major component. We're still the only one in the industry, along with our sister brands, offering that well-being director. And we have industry-leading protocols. People can kind of go on our website and check that out. But we believe that that's going to create a peace of mind for that guest, that we are going to be able to adapt as we go through and be able to make in-destination decisions that make sense.
But you also have seen, let's say for a particular itinerary that proves to be popular, have you looked at putting in additional departures or something of, say, maybe some more of your domestic trips initially this year as opposed to Europe?
Yes, we are. Right now we're looking at, if we look at Insight, it's our national parks program, absolutely spectacular programs for Insight, as well as some really incredible programs for Luxury Gold, like the Ted Turner Ranch, which I think is absolutely incredible here. But we're also seeing outside of domestic, you're seeing popular destinations like Machu Picchu and Peru, which already have built in a little bit of the social distancing. So we have increased some departures. We've had more guaranteed departures. But one of the biggest modifications that we've had is really increased the number of small group departures. So we've always had Classic, which have been maxed out at 40, averaging 33. But we believe, and we're seeing that people are resonating gravitating towards the small groups as well. So again, we're and not just in the national parks, we're also seeing domestically places like our New England Fall Foliage programs, and those our Southern Grace programs have been popular and will continue to be popular.
No, that's great. Now, one thing I wanted to ask you about is obviously for trips canceled last year, I'm sure you issued future travel tour credits And what are most guests doing with those credits now in terms of, are they booking stuff this year, and are they booking the same destinations, or if you offered the chance for them to change destinations, are they doing that?
That's a big question, James. As we look at it, we are seeing those future travel credits redeemed primarily in Q4 of 2021,
Right.
as well as all of 2022. Our booking pattern right now is about 75% new bookings and about 25% what we would refer to as rebookings, which is a combination of future travel credits and then also people just rebooking their trips or moving their trips. And again, we're seeing the booking patterns for us are coming back to what they were pre-COVID. So the people who basically didn't have an opportunity to travel in 2020 are now looking at rebooking pretty much that same destination for 2021 and 2022. So, but our new bookings are changing. The new bookings are shifting more to a domestic product, as well as a longer duration product than what we've seen in the past. So we're excited about that. We're seeing again. Our guests, our loyal guests, are coming back. They're feeling comfortable that they know eventually this has been over. As you said, it's a light at the end of the tunnel and not a train coming in the other direction. But we're seeing our travel advisors are really now getting back to those guests. They're no longer kind of kicking the can down the road, but they're trying to get them committed onto the trips. Again, I mentioned like the last 2 weeks have been the very best booking weeks we've had since COVID, and hopefully that trend will continue.
Now let's just talk about future bookings, not even talking about this year, but how's 2022? And I think, you've put in itineraries, I believe, already for 2023. So how are those 2 years looking? Are we going to see this renaissance in travel that everybody keeps promising in 22, and then just, we'll blow the lights out in 23 in terms of bookings? It's going to be crazy.
Well, I hope so. Again, for your sake and my sake, I hope
That's
so.
Right.
But a few things that have happened is we've launched our trips or allowed our trips to be booked earlier than ever before.
Right.
And so that's impacting. If you look at the numbers, our numbers are all way out of whack because we have so many people booked now in 2022. I think the question to be asked, especially if you're a travel advisor, you want to create that urgency of sale when you're talking to your guest. And so, there's going to be limited space, especially during peak booking times and the most popular trips for 2022. So, I think that will be in line with maybe 2019, maybe, above what you saw in 2019 because of the pent-up demand. But I think the issue for travel advisors is they need to have that conversations with their well-traveled guests now about, hey, if you're interested in going to Oberammergau, you're interested in going to the military tattoo in Scotland and Edinburgh, you need to make your commitment now. And so and I also think that once bookings come in, you're going to see prices go up. So right now, this is the best value. The offers are out there right now, but it's going to be a limited inventory, and they need to keep that in mind when they're having the conversations with their guests.
Well, that was sort of one of the questions I was going to ask you. What you tell travel advisors now, so they can sell more of your products. But is there anything else you want to say to travel advisors right now during this? What appears to be the emergence of the end of the pandemic, probably by this summer, to be honest with you, from everything we're hearing right now, given that there's no resurgence of some kind. But what else would you tell travel advisors about both of your brands?
The first thing I would say is thank you. The travel advisor community has been incredibly supportive of Insight Vacations and Luxury Gold, as well as the Travel Corporation. So I think the first thing I'd humbly say thank you very much. Appreciate you sticking with us. But the things that I would say is that don't be dissuaded by the pandemic that the well-traveled, discerning guest is still looking for that same thing. They're looking for human connection in destination, exclusivity. They want experiential. They want to experience the destination, not just be a passive observer. And they want that localized, authentic experiences. So the first thing is I would say sell what counts, don't sell discounts. And don't get away from the fact that especially a discerning guest, It's not always about price. It's not always about discounting. It's being able to experience that destination at an elevated level. The other thing is know the industry protocols, understand what those are. We believe from the TTC perspective, from both Insight Vacation as well as our sister brand Trafalgar, it is about that well-being director. Today's guest is looking for more choice, and they're looking for smaller groups. So if I had to make 2 suggestions to travel advisors right now, is 1, absolutely positively set up a virtual consumer event. Show it and sell it, hide it and keep it. You can't just wait for your phone to ring. You got to get out there and make it happen. So reach out to us. We can help with that. And then also I encourage them to host a trip, host a come along trip. If your guests are seeing you traveling a destination, if your people see you going to the Amazon and that type of thing, that's what they want to see. That instills confidence. And also, instead of waiting for them to come back for a deal, it's going out and offering them not just a service, but a product. So sure. Again, my 2, I would deplore them to please offer a consumer event and please host a group, preferably with Insight Vacations or Luxury Gold, and get out there and sell it.
No, that's all great advice, and hopefully I know a lot of people want to get back to selling very soon, because obviously there's not been any income in the last year or so, and it's important that they get working on that. Now, just lastly, where can travel advisors go to learn about both Insight Vacations and Luxury Gold?
The best place to go is our website, which is www.insightvacations.com or www.luxurygold.com. Always able to reach out to our call center, reach out to your sales person, and they can assist you. One thing that I do want to encourage guests to do as well is we've partnered with Travel Sherpa. And if you're wanting to look to see what the latest protocols or the latest policies are by country, you can go onto our website and you can find out what those are. They're very well listed. They'll tell you exactly what the most up-to-date policy is. You can also find out about our peace of mind protocol as well, and see what we're doing to make you feel more comfortable about committing your guests to an Insight Vacation or Luxury Gold trip in 2021 or 2022 or a Luxury Gold journey.
Well, again, good advice, and obviously their travel advisors are more important than ever, given this additional thing that they have to know in terms of the protocols, in terms of what's open, in terms of the procedures of going in each country, although I'm sure if you go with either of your brands, you're going to help them all the way to understand that and communicate that to their clients. Yes, sir. Well, listen, John, I want to thank you once again. Always great to see you. We keep saying we got to see each other live one of these days. I swear this year we'll do it. But it'll be fun. But I want to thank you for taking the time to talk about the survey and some encouraging news, actually, for future bookings for this year even and well into next.
James, I was down in Central Park this weekend as well. It sounds like you were in the same neighborhood. So next time I'm down there, I should look you up.
There you go. I just hang out in Central Park now if I'm not doing anything else. But if I'm not in the Ecuadorian Amazon or the Galapagos, I'm in Central Park. So, hey, I'm out there. I'm trying to get out there and travel. And I think, as you said, we have to lead the way and encourage more people to say it's okay to travel. It's almost like we have to have permission there for a little while. But now I think as we emerge, more people are going to say, hey, I'm ready to go because, boy, I am so tired of being home. And here in the Northeast, we're kind of tired of the snow too right now. Right. So again, thank you so much. Again, we'll see you soon.
Sounds good. Permission granted to travel. Let's get back at it.
There you go. I'm James Shillinglaw, and this is Insider Travel Report.